Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NBA Player Prop Show for Wednesday, February 17th, 2021. We're back with another edition of the Player Prop Show, so we'll wait for some people to get in right now, but real excited to get going. We got a pretty big slate tonight, obviously a Wednesday slate, so it's always bigger on Wednesday. 10 games tonight. So yeah, we'll wait a couple minutes for people to get in. Be sure to throw all these questions into the live chat. I will get to them. Obviously, first, like normal, I'm going to go through 5 props that I like on tonight's slate. Then we will get right to the questions. Let me just double check here that this is going live on Twitter. Yes, it is. All right, and we're good to go. But first, just want to remind everyone about Thrive Fantasy, which is a partner of SportsBird. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports app, but for player props. So if you're watching this video right now, this is likely for you because, if you study player props all day, if you love player props, this is just perfect. It's daily fantasy for player props. It presents you with 20 options. You got to pick 10 to put in your lineup for the NBA, and a point total is assigned to each over and under for each prop. The more risky the line is, the more points it is worth. You got to try and accumulate the most points to beat your competition. So yeah, winner gets cash prizes like any daily fantasy platform. And if you sign up today using the promo code BIRD, BURD, you will get a deposit matchup up to $50 with on a deposit minimum of $20. So be sure to check that out. Promo code BIRD, BURD. You could check it out at the App Store, at the Play Store, or visit their website, thrivefantasy.com. Be sure to check that out. Promo code BIRD, BURD. So let's go here. We got our graphics like normal. Hey, love to see it. Love to see it. Keep signing up. Signed up last night using Bird's advice and won. Thank you. Yeah. Sign up for Thrive. They have another pretty cool feature besides the actual competition where you could go against other people and stuff, and you could pick 10 out of 20, like I said. They also have something where you could choose like 2 of their props or 3 of their props, and if they all hit, it gets like a certain multiplier. So if you hit like 2 for 2, it's like, I think like 3.6 times, something like that, 3.6 times your initial investment. So yeah, check that out. Definitely a good place to look at if you love props. So let's get into it right here. We have our graphics. First, we're going to talk about Julius Randle over 1.5 threes in this game against the Orlando Magic. So Julius Randle, I cannot believe what this guy is doing this year. So first of all, I am a Knicks fan. If you're new to this, you might not know that. If you have been in here, I'm a Knicks fan. I write articles about the Knicks for the Knicks Wall. Go check out the Knicks Wall. It's a great platform as well. That being said, me and all other Knicks fans despised this guy last year. He was so bad last year, and he has done a complete 180. He should without a doubt be an all-star this season. He's been unbelievable. Went for 44 the other night, but averaging 23.1 points per game on the season, 11 rebounds per game on the season, and 5.6 assists per game on the season. He's making 1.8 out of his 4.4 three-point attempts, which comes out to 40.6% on the season. In his last 9 games, he's averaging 25.2 points per game and 2.9 threes made per game out of the 5.9 he's taking. That's 49.1% from 3 over his last 9 games. Last game against the Hawks, as I said before, hit 7 of his 13 threes. He was ridiculous. This guy was he was like prime Melo like last game. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. Has hit over 1.5 threes in 6 of his last 9 games. The Magic ranked 21st in the NBA in opponent threes made per game and in opponent 3-point attempts. He's minus 148 on DraftKings, on FanDuel. So a little bit of juice there. It is decent, not great odds, but I don't think it's high enough where he shouldn't do it. I definitely think he hits his over 1.5 threes in this game. Now we're going to move on and talk about Zion Williamson over 25.5 points. I've been huge on bigs against Portland this year, and that is because I'm not a believer of Enes Kanter at center. His defense is horrible. Zion Williamson, I think he's been a little bit under the radar this year, Zion. And I know you're thinking to yourself, it's Zion. How could the guy be under the radar? They play Pelicans games every other day on TV. Yeah, they do push Zion a lot, the NBA. He's on TV all the time, but I think that the actual season he's having is very underrated. He's averaging 24.6 points per game, shooting 61.5% from the field. And over his last 8 games, he is averaging 27.1 points per game, shooting 69.7% from the field. Just absurd. Starting to look like exactly the Zion we saw at Duke, where this guy just doesn't miss any shots. Like he gets to the rim so easily. He's so big. He's so hard to defend. He's cleared this points number in his last 4 games, cleared it in 6 of his last 8 games, comes in against Portland here, who is allowing 114.8 points per game, which ranks 25th in the NBA. High over under in this game at 236.5. I like Zion to go over 25.5 points. Pretty decent value here, minus 104 on DraftKings. Now we're going to move to our next 3 props, all from the Heat Warrior game. The first one we're going to talk about is Bam Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds. Bam Adebayo comes in averaging 9.4 rebounds per game, averaging 10.2 rebounds per game over his last 10. He's cleared this 10.5 rebounds number in 6 of his last 10 games, including 2 of his last 3. But he goes up against a Warriors team here who ranks 29th in opponent rebounds per game at 48.3. I think Bam has a solid night, goes over 10.5 rebounds against Golden State. This is at plus 105 on DraftKings, so you get really good value there. And I think you can guess what the next 2 props are going to be. I mean, if you've been watching these live streams, you know where I'm going here, and that is Draymond Green over 9.5 assists. I mean, this guy has been printing us money. He's printing money. He's printing money for us these last few games. Without James Looney, not James Looney, I'm combining both names. I'm talking baseball now, and I'm combining Kevin Looney and James Wiseman. Anyway, but with James Wiseman and Kevin Looney both out, this guy's playing small ball 5 center, just racking up a ton of assists. He's averaging 12.3 assists per game in 7 games without Kevin Looney or James Wiseman. He's cleared this 9.5 assist number in 6 of his last 7 games. He went for 15 plus assists in 3 of those 7 games. Heat rank 18th in opponent assists per game at 25.1. He should have no problem tonight going over 9.5 assists with both Looney and Wiseman out once again. And you can get it at plus 102 on FanDuel. Why is he that great value? I don't know, but amazing value there with Draymond over 9.5 assists. And the last one, we're going to talk about another guy who's been printing us money, and that is Jimmy Butler over 7.5 rebounds in this game. So the Warriors, as I said with Bam, rank 29th in opponent rebounds per game at 48.3. Butler has cleared this 7.5 rebounds line in 8 of his 9 games back from COVID, and he's cleared it in his last 8 games. So 8 games straight, he's gone for over 7.5 rebounds, averaging 8.7 rebounds per game over these last 9 games. I don't see why tonight would be any different given the matchup. I like the over here for 7.5 rebounds. Now, we have a difference in line pretty significantly between DraftKings and FanDuel here. Minus 128 on FanDuel for over 7.5 rebounds, but it's minus 162, I believe, on DraftKings. Let me just go double check that about FanDuel. Yeah, minus 128 for FanDuel, minus 162 for DraftKings. So if you have access to FanDuel, go do that. Go get it in before it ends up going up to 8.5. I think it was at 8.5 on FanDuel earlier in the day, and they just switched it. But huge on Jimmy Butler over 7.5 rebounds and Draymond over 9.5 assists. As you know already, I mean, these guys have been printing us money, but let's get right into it now. Let's get right into questions. Remember, everyone, be sure to like this video and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. The like really helps me out a ton. The subscription would really help me out a ton. I also have my own Patreon where I do these NBA player prop podcasts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I've been being asked by a bunch of people when I'm on YouTube to clarify. I'm doing this show on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, I'm going to try something new going forward, where on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to release my player props on YouTube early in the day. So basically, I'll create a video early in the day on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then I'll go live in the afternoon. So I'll have 2 videos for player props on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. One will be the actual picks, which will go out in the early afternoon probably, or late morning. And then I will once again go live in the afternoon. So you'll have an opportunity to ask me questions there. Just, wanted to experiment with that next week. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll start it up on Friday. Not sure yet, but let's get right into the questions here. And yeah, just if you're coming in late and you missed my explanation for all the player props, they're on the bottom right here. But yeah, let's get right into it. So Julius Randle over 22.5 points. I like it a lot. So was looking into Randle points when I ended up, doing the threes. If you don't want to bet threes, I would be completely fine betting Randle over 22.5 points. Now, the reason why is because I believe in his last, I said this before, in his last 9 games, he's averaging 25.2 points per game, goes up against Orlando here, who are not great guarding the paint. They're not really great at guarding anything, if we're being honest. They're like pretty much bottom half of the league and everything. They're 16th, so barely bottom half of the league in opponent points in the paint per game at 47.2. Last few games have been, I'm good with Randle for sure over 22.5. Mason Plumley over 25.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. So Mason Plumley, the Pistons tonight play the Bulls. Okay, so good matchup there. Let me just check a few things for Plumley. Plumlee's been playing really well this year. Like I'll be honest, I thought the signing was hilarious when they did it. They paid him like 3 years, $25 million, but he's been playing well. So you know what? I can't fault it right now. Let me just check his. Yeah, so last game he had a triple-double last game, 17, 10, and 10. Wow. Against New Orleans, nonetheless. New Orleans is a tough matchup for centers with Adams and Zion. In the game before that, 14 and 12, 15. Yeah, I'm good with that. I like that bet a lot. He's been playing really well. Last 3 games, just to be exact with the number, he had 37 points plus rebounds plus assists. The game before that, he had 33 points plus rebounds plus assists. The game before that, 15 plus 8 plus 6 had 29. So he's cleared it in his last 3. Yeah, I like Plumlee. He's playing well. Joel Embiid over 29.5 points. He plays Utah tonight. Tough matchup for Utah, but interesting thing about them. So they're great in every category. Every defensive category they are great in, but they let up a lot of points in the paint per game at 48.5. I'm good with Embiid over 29.5. Clint Capella over 14.5 points. The Hawks play the Celtics. Celtics are pretty good on defense. I don't know. I'm not huge on it. Boston ranks 12th in opponent points in the paint per game at 45.9. So they're not great. They're also not bad. They're just kind of solid. Let me just look at his last few games here. Averaging 13.9 points per game on the season. Last few games has gone 15, 24, 14, 6, 23. Yeah, he's just kind of inconsistent with points, and he plays a very good Boston team. I'm not huge on Capella points. What about Jimmy Butler? Yeah, hammer 7.5 rebounds. If you want to go with 7.5 assists, I'm also good with that. What do I think about Draymond Green over 15.5 rebounds plus assists? Personally, I'd rather stick with assists, but I do think rebounds plus assists will hit for sure. What's up, man? Ben Simmons to score 20-plus points. Embiid back against the Jazz, not huge on it at all. Don't think it's going to hit. Now, I know that they're playing back-to-back against Utah here. They played the Jazz the other night. Oh, no, they're not playing the Jazz tonight. What am I doing? I'm thinking of the other night. Who are they? Okay, they're playing Houston. Regardless of their matchup, I don't know why I had last night's or Monday night's matchups in my head. That being said, Houston is still a very tough matchup for opponent. Like, Houston's very good on defense. I don't think Simmons scores over 20, especially with Embiid back. And I apologize for talking about the Jazz when discussing Embiid before. Embiid, I still think goes over 29.5. It's not going to be a tough matchup against Cousins. So now you're saying, okay, I like the Capella prop. Celtics are terrible against bigs. Jokic went off last night on them with Tice out. Capella should hit that 14.5. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like huge anti it. I'm just like, I think that there are more props out there that I'm just more confident in. So look, I think your reasoning is valid. Donovan Mitchell over. I assume you mean over points. Now, to clarify, the Jazz play the Clippers, not the 76ers like I was thinking for whatever reason. They played the other night. Okay, so thing is that I know Paul George is out tonight. Is Kawhi out tonight? And I believe Kawhi's questionable, so we probably won't know until a lot later. So obviously, if Kawhi plays, it's going to be a tougher matchup for Mitchell. So it's tough to judge that now. Clippers really good in terms of opponent points. It's also, I believe, all the way up at 26.5, 25.5. Yeah, I'd stay away from Mitchell's over tonight unless Kawhi's ruled out. Then I'm more for it. Zach Levine over 28.5 points against Detroit. Yeah, good. Love Levine lately. Good with it. Pistons are horrible, like on every facet of the game, defensively and offensively, just everything. Seth Curry over 12.5 points against the Rockets. Again, Rockets are pretty good on defense, a lot better than you would think. And in terms of opponent threes, they're also up there. I know Curry obviously shoots a lot of threes. Let me just go check the game logs from the last few for Seth Curry, and then I will give you a sure answer. So the thing is that last game, he got 10 shots. So the thing with Seth Curry here is that he doesn't take a lot of shots. Like he took 10 shots last game, and that was with Embiid out. Game before that, 9, 13, 13. He's efficient. That's the good thing. So if you think that Curry will take like 13 shots, then 12.5 points is probably going to hit. But he's had games where he doesn't take that many shots, and that's an issue. Didn't hit this over in his last 2 out of his last 3. Plays against Houston, a pretty good defensive team. So I'm not huge on it, but I'm also not. I'm kind of neutral on it. That's what I would say. Karl-Anthony Towns, 10.5 rebounds against Indiana. Towns obviously coming off COVID. He's only played a few games back. I said this last stream, and I'm honestly going to probably stick to this. I'm inclined to stay away from Towns' props until we get a bigger sample size, just because playing in the low 30s in minutes the last 2 games, I feel like that's probably going to go up a little bit more once he's probably back for a little bit longer. He's cleared this in 2 out of the in only 1 of the games back so far, 10.5. Now, Indiana, Indiana is, let me just double check this here, but they're not a great rebounding team at all. 20th in opponent rebounds per game at 45.4, but I don't think you could rely on Towns yet. Jazz 3.5 over the Clippers, minus 3.5. Okay. Fun stat about the Jazz. They are 18-2 in their last 20 games, and then 18-2 in their last 20 games in terms of the spread. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with it. I like it. Bradley Beal over 30.5 points. Denver's not that good on defense right now, at least. I like it. They let up a lot of threes also. Zach Levine over 28.5 points. Got asked that question before against the Pistons. I like it. Draymond Green over 6.5 rebounds. Personally, I'd rather stick to assists. Miami, pretty good rebounding team, 13th in the NBA in opponent rebounds per game at 44.1. Let me just look at Draymond's rebounds. He's been like very inconsistent with the rebounds. Because originally, before this trend got started with the assists, I was on rebounds for him since he was playing center, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But it's really been the assists. Yeah, so his prop is over 6.5 rebounds. He has cleared it in 4 of his last 5, so I definitely am not opposed. I just would rather play the assists. I think it's a lot safer personally. Or you could, combine the rebounds plus assists. That's probably going to hit also. Yep, Sixers are playing the Rockets. That was my bet on that. I was thinking last game for whatever reason. Jazz play Clippers. I screwed that up. It's my bet. Tatum and Jalen hit points. They play the... Who are they playing tonight? They play... Are they even playing? Oh, yeah, they play... Okay, they play Atlanta tonight. Yeah, Atlanta, they were not supposed to be a good defensive team this year. They started off the year really good on defense, and they have gone significantly worse. Right now, they are 17th, I believe, in the NBA in opponent points per game at 112.8. I'm for it. I'm for Tatum and Jalen tonight over points. Anthony Edwards over 17.5 against Indiana. He's been playing really well. Back-to-back. Don't know if you could rely on it. He had a great game last night. One of the things with Anthony Edwards that holds me back a little bit is he's just, and this honestly is something that held me back in terms of just like as a general prospect of him coming into the NBA. He is not the most efficient player you've ever seen. He will have a lot of cold shooting games. Again, has been playing well lately. Covered that in his last 3 games, 5 of his last 6. Plays against Indiana. I'm neutral. You can't go wrong with it, I don't think, because he is hitting it consistently, but I feel like regression may be coming. Yeah, Plumley over 12.5 points against Bulls looks solid. Yep. Bam Adebayo or Kelly Olynyk over rebounds. Go with Bam. I have him as one of my 5 picks tonight. John Collins over 17.5 points. Okay. So they play Boston. And yeah, look, Collins has been very inconsistent this year. Another guy. So like, I feel like I've been saying this for a lot of people. I like going with the props of just the guys who are a lot more consistent. Like that's just a lot more, it's just more securing, I guess, to me to do that. That being said, last few games, 19 points, 18 points, 9, 33, 19, 17. So he's hit this in 4 of his last 5. Plays against Boston. I'm neutral on it. I think that his recent form says he could go over, but Boston is good defensively. But Tice is out. Neutral, I would say. Towns over 9.5 rebounds. I answered this one before. Don't want to rely on Towns until he's had a bigger sample size, I should say. Julius Randle under points should be a slow-paced game. Yeah, I like Randle over points tonight. I don't like him under points. And I know it's supposed to be a slow-paced game. Over-under is only 210.5. That being said, let me look. The Knicks played against Orlando early in the season. I just want to check what was going on there. They played against Orlando, and he had 21 and 17 against them, so he did go under there. Yes, it's going to be a slower-paced game, but I like Randle over. He's been red hot lately. Jokic over 27.5 points against Washington. Only thing I'm worried about here is a blowout. If he plays a full game, he will hit that. So, yeah, if you are confident that on a back-to-back for Denver, it will not be a blowout, then go for it. Patrick Williams over 5.5 rebounds, a prop that we've liked a lot against Detroit. I like it. Rebound props are tough lately. Tread lightly. Yeah, Deandre Aiden last night I had over rebounds. I believe he had 5 in the first 6 minutes of the game and then ended with 8 or 9. Not ideal. DeAndre Aiden, I don't know who watched the Suns Nets last night. First of all, amazing game, amazing comeback. James Harden's insane. DeAndre Aiden was brutal last night. Brutal. This guy was basically getting caught in a switch every time. He'd end up guarding the point guard or Harden or whoever was out there, and he got blown by every single time, and that's exactly the reason why he did not hit his rebounds. Zion over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. I would stick to points, but I do like over rebounds plus assists as well. He's dishing out a lot lately, and Portland is not good rebounding. They're not good in terms of opponent assists. Collins over 27.5 points, rebounds, assists. I think I like points, rebounds, assists a lot better than I like 27.5 points, rebounds, assists a lot better than I like the points for him. Brogdon over 5.5 assists against Minnesota. Yeah, I could get behind that for sure. Minnesota's horrible in all facets of defense. Shai Gilgeous over points if he plays. Is there a line out for that? Because last time I checked, there was no line for it. I did try to look at this game because it is interesting in terms of props for OKC Memphis, but I don't think any of the props are out yet. Let me just give another look right now. We're loading up here. No line yet. Okay, no line yet. If he if he plays, sure. I would have to see what the line is, though. I can't give you an answer without knowing the line. I don't think it's a bad matchup, though. Yeah. So, right. This is the advice. Okay. Valanciunas smash spot, over points, over PRA. I completely agree with that. Oh, so Valanciunas, his line is out now. Yeah, so these lines were all not out when I did the research, but Valanciunas tonight is a solid bet. 11.5 rebounds. I love that because OKC ranks dead last in the NBA in opponent rebounds. I smashed Kanter last night in terms of rebounding. Kanter easily hit. Yes, it is a Valanciunas smash spot. So if you're looking at this Grizzlies Thunder game, Valanciunas is the way to go here. Damian Lillard over 8.5 assists. I like it. That is a prop I was looking at earlier in the day. They play the Pelicans, who rank dead last in the NBA in opponent assists per game. I believe they're either dead last or 29th. Let me just double check on that. Okay, they're 29th in the NBA, so bottom two in opponent assists per game at 27.9. Lillard's been dishing out a ton lately. Just to get everybody listening in the chat, Lillard's last few games in terms of assists, they're really good. They're really good. 10, 11, 9, 7, 2, 9, 8, 7, 9, 9, 10. Yeah, he's playing. He's dishing out a lot. I like it against a team that lets up a lot of assists, is not good defensively. I had John Morant last night against New Orleans in terms of assists. Blowout completely killed it. He was like one or two short. They pulled him with like 5 minutes left. Sabonis over 39.5 points, rebounds, assists, has a really easy matchup against Minnesota. I'm good with that. 27.5 points, Kawhi Leonard against Utah. Without Paul George, yeah, I'm okay with that, but it is a little bit of a tough matchup, but I'm okay with it. Shai Gilgeous is over 20.5 points against Memphis. Yeah, I like it. John Wall today. John Wall against Philly. Another decently tough matchup. If Simmons is guarding him, that's bad. Like, I probably would stay away from Wall today. Nobody is producing at all against Simmons. Yeah, Gary Trent over points might be good tonight too. Gary Trent is a guy that I kind of caught on to that last week. I hit his over points against. I had his over points, I believe, in one of my either podcasts or one of these videos. I had Trent points against the 76ers last week, which he hit. That was at 15.5. Now it's all the way up at 18.5. Trent, this is like the ideal matchup for Gary Trent. He plays New Orleans. New Orleans is dead last in the NBA in terms of threes. They let up a ton of threes, and honestly, the reason why is because you're playing huge guys with Zion and Steven Adams. I believe Steven Adams is questionable for this game. I don't know if he's actually playing, but Steven Adams and Zion Williamson, if they're down there, you're going to just generally shoot a lot of threes because you can't get into the paint, and that's why they're letting up a ton of three-point attempts, dead last in the NBA to that. They're letting up a ton of three-pointers made, dead last in the NBA to that. Gary Trent's game is predicated on threes. So, yeah, I think that even though Trent is over 18.5 points, this is a good spot for him. He's over 3.5 threes, which is a little bit much, but I think either points or threes works. Malik Beasley, points or threes? I'm going to have to look at, Indiana against three-point shooters is 11th in opponent three-pointers made per game. They do allow 32.6 three-pointers to be taken against them, which is actually 5th. So they're pretty good in terms of three-point, not allowing a lot of threes to be taken and made, but at the same time, their percentage is down to 22nd. Malik Beasley, his line is at, let me just grab his line up here. Beasley at 20.5 points is a decent amount. I probably would not go there. His 3-point line is 3.5. Yeah, I'm more inclined to go with Beasley threes here rather than points. I think 20.5 is a lot, especially with Towns back. Now, I know, again, he's averaging that on the season, but yeah, you have to keep in mind that he's played most of the season without Karl-Anthony Towns. How is that going to affect him? Last few games, 11 points, 20, 31, 21, 30. Didn't affect him in the early games too much. But at the same time, threes, 6, 4, 7, 6. Last game he had 3. He's taking in Beasley's last 7 games, he is taking 11.1 threes. And he's making 5 of them. So you just need him to hit 4. I would probably go threes over points. But theoretically, if he's hitting 4 threes, he's already halfway to points. Embiid against Utah, yeah, I like it. Jazz are good everywhere except for defending the paint, which doesn't make a lot of sense based on them having Gobert down there. But yeah, I like Embiid. Ben Simmons points over with Embiid back against a. I don't know why I keep saying this. I don't know why I keep saying Utah against Embiid, but regardless, Houston. I don't know why I keep confusing that today. Embiid's playing Houston. My bad on that for screwing that up again. Embiid against Houston. Regardless, Cousins is an easy matchup, so I like Embiid over points. Simmons, tough matchup against Houston. They're good on defense. Also, Embiid is back this game. You got to keep in mind that Embiid was not there last game. So when he put up that great performance against Houston, against Utah, Embiid wasn't there. So that's why his usage percentage was way up. I'm not huge on Simmons points tonight. I would much rather go with Embiid. Tristan Thompson over 8.5 rebounds. Tice is out. He played 28 minutes last night. They do play against Atlanta. Tristan Thompson, let me just go check him out quickly. Tristan Thompson. "12 rebounds last game in 27 minutes. The thing is that, I probably like it. I'm leaning towards yes for Tristan Thompson. I just don't, based on a one-game sample size, is that really where his minutes are going to be again? I think probably, but we don't know for sure. But yeah, I do like it. I'm leaning towards a yes there. More confident on Butler or Draymond prop hitting? I'm going to go with Butler over 7.5. I'm confident on both them a lot. If I had to pick one that I'm more confident in, I'll go with Butler rebounds for most confident over Draymond's, but it's very close. It's honestly almost even. Draymond's over assists I really like as well. Damian Lillard over 7 assists. I went over this against the Pelicans. Pelicans ranked 29th in opponent assists per game. Lillard's been dishing out lately. I like it. Kelly Oubre, a name we have not heard tonight, over 17 points against Miami. Oubra's not a guy that I will ever go to, really, just because he's so inconsistent, goes on insane shooting slumps, is out of his slump, kind of, but I'm not huge on Oubre over 17. Nikola Vucevic over 11.5 rebounds against the Knicks. The Knicks rank, I believe, 16th in opponent rebounds per game at 44.5. Vuce, let me check his last few games, but the thing is, it's going to be a very slow-paced game. So I know the Knicks are 16th, which is not great in opponent rebounds per game, but slow pace is not good for any kind of stats. Now, I know I did say Randle, but that's a little bit different. I just think he's playing great lately. I'm not huge on Vucevic over rebounds at all tonight. Not huge on it. Bradley Beal over assists against Denver. Denver is not good in terms of defending assists, I believe. Yeah, Denver ranks 28th in opponent assists per game at 26.7. Now, looking at Beal's last few games in terms of assists, let me grab this right here. Beal's last few games in terms of assists, 3-5, 5-7, 0-3. Not too consistent there. His number is at, what is his number? Probably at 3.5, 4.5. His number's at 4.5 at -150. I think that's not great value for Bradley Beal over assists. Yeah, I know. No Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks tonight. He's out for a while. Nerlens Noel actually played. It won't show on the stat. It will not show on the stat sheet. But Nerlens Noel played a really solid game for the Knicks the other night. It was a lot of just great defensive plays that won't show up on the box score. He's not far off from Mitchell Robinson when he plays well. So again, not huge on Vuce. Hope you're well too, Austin. Which 2 to 3 are you most confident if you were to parlay? Definitely would go with Draymond over assists. Definitely would go with Butler over rebounds. So take those two, and I would say parlay them with, I think you could parlay it with Randle over threes. But there's not a huge dispatch. Look, in terms of, if I had to make a tier ranking of them, it would be like Draymond and Butler, and then it would be like maybe like Randle, and then like slightly below Zion, Bam. So if I had to choose one, it would probably be Randle, but I do like Butler and Draymond far more than the rest of the field that I have. RJ Barrett over 22.5 points, rebounds, assists. RJ has not been great lately, and it's not really like, his shooting hasn't been that good, but it's more of just like RJ Barrett goes on these like 10 game stretches where he's insanely good, and then these 10 game stretches where he does nothing. He's in one of those stretches that he is not doing much. Now, that being said, he had 21 points last game. Hopefully he's coming out a little bit of this slump. Shot 8 for 14. I know his points line, I believe, is at 14.5. I'm probably more into the 14.5 number than the 22.5 PRA. So if you want to bet RJ Barrett, I'd go over 14.5 points. But there is the question of usage lately. His usage has not been great lately. He hasn't been taking a lot of shots. Jeremy Grant over 22.5 points. I like a lot against Chicago. Yeah, do not trust RJ. Just the inconsistency is too much. That's why I feel like you can't get there. Again, if I had to choose one, it would be over points, but you can't trust it, unfortunately. As much as I want to say you could, and again, it's not entirely his fault. He's having a decent season. It's not entirely his fault, but I just think it just depends on if he's going to actually touch the ball, how many shots he's going to get, and that's been up in the air lately. Simmons rebounds or assists. Let me just go check what the numbers are. I believe the Rockets are first in the NBA in opponent assists per game. So immediately I'm going to say no to over there. His rebound number is at 8.5, which his assist is at 7.5. So if I had to choose for Ben, it would be I would go with rebounds instead of assists for over. The reason why is because if you look at the rebounding stats here, the Houston Rockets rank 27th in opponent rebounds per game at 47.4. So I'd go with rebounds rather than assists. Ja over 7.5 assists against OKC. Ja should clear 7.5. He's cleared that in most recent games. Curry over 15.5 first half points. Sure. I'm good with it. He's got off to a lot of hot starts lately. Also, so I think this could low key be a huge Curry game. I don't want to say low key because every game's a big Curry game for the most part. But obviously, we know Curry shoots a ton of threes. Miami Heat rank 29th in the NBA in opponent three-pointers made per game at 15.1. You don't want to be that team if you're playing Curry. All right, any more questions we got for today? Just want to remind everyone to like this video. Really helps me out. Subscribe to this channel. Also really helps me out. Be sure to check out Thrive Fantasy, promo code BURD, BURD. You get a matchup bonus up to $50 with your deposit of $20 or more there with the promo code BURD, BURD. They have some pretty cool games there. It is like a daily fantasy site where you could go into contests with different props, and they give you 20 options for props. You pick 10 of them, try to score the most points, could get a cash prize. Or they have games where you could basically like parlay props, and they have different multipliers for them. So pretty cool website. Be sure to check that out. Promo code BURD, BURD. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching tonight. Really appreciate it. Last call for questions here on the night. We will keep going if we have some more questions. Yes, sir. Juice Bird likes up. Yes, juice them up. Get all the likes up. All them up. Thoughts on Kendrick Nunn? 16.5 points plus assists. Dragic out once again against Golden State, a team that's not very good on defense. I'm okay. I'm pretty good. I'm good with that. And yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitter at sports_bird. That also helps me out a lot. Favorite Drummond landing spot? Okay. You know what? I love this question. It's a non-prop question, but I love it. So I'm going to go on my quick Andre Drummond rant. that I've been going on for every single one of my friends at home. A lot of my friends at home are huge Drummond fans for no reason at all, just because he puts up stats and is good at fantasy basketball. He is, for a guy like if you are a old school center like Andre Drummond is, you need to do other things well in order to make that up. So like if you're, for example, like Rudy Gobert is a old school type center. He's elite on defense. And that's why he's Rudy Gobert. That's why he's such a great player. Andre Drummond does only one thing well, and it is rebounding. That's the only thing he does well. He's horrible on offense. He has no offensive game. His on-ball defense is not good. So to me, Drummond is the only teams that would like benefit from Drummond, I think, are probably Brooklyn, because they have no bigs except for DeAndre Jordan, who's horrible. That being said, Brooklyn, unless there's a buyout, probably cannot get Andre Drummond just because of contracts. They definitely can, I should say. So they would need to hope for him to be bought out, which I don't think is going to happen. They're saying Toronto. I don't think Toronto is a bad landing spot for Drummond, but they're going to have to shed some salary to get him or bring in a third team. I think that could be interesting. But yeah, I'm not huge on Drummond as an actual basketball player. Burd, you only dabble in props, or do you go against the spread at all? Knicks -3.5 tonight. I usually don't bet spreads in basketball, but I like Knicks -3.5. They're playing well. Orlando is not playing well. Drummond, one-trick pony. Haha. Yes. Literally, yes. Could only rebound. And, like, he was playing really well at the beginning of the year, and he was, like, passing a lot more. He was, like, racking up a decent amount of assists, and I was like, oh, maybe the guy's turning over a new leaf. Like, if you... The modern day center, Jokic has changed. Jokic, Bam, and Embiid, those guys have changed what the modern day center is. Nikola Jokic, I mean, the guy is arguably the best passer in the NBA. And a guy like Bam is putting up 5.5 assists per game. Now you see guys like Randle who are completely transforming their games. Sabonis, Randle, guys like that, they're dishing out 5.5 assists now per game. That's what the center has to do in the modern day. The center has to be able to shoot. Drummond cannot shoot. So yeah, Drummond has not transformed his games like a lot of other guys have. Yeah, Drummond's shot blocking it's not bad, but I don't think he's not a good on-ball defender. Like, a lot of guys are good at shot blocking, but they're not good at actual defenders. Mitchell Robinson, obviously I know well because I'm a Knicks fan. I watch almost every game. Mitchell Robinson is a great shot blocker. Before this year, he was not great at on-ball defense. He's still not great at on-ball defense. He has gotten a lot better this year, though. But yeah, some guys, they are great shot blockers. They're not actual great defenders. I feel like Drummond is that. Any other questions we got for tonight? Once again, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Love talking props. Happy that everyone's in here today. Not sure if anyone's into it, but we got golf tomorrow, the Genesis Invitational. Pretty big tournament. I did a stream on Sal Vetri's YouTube channel today with him, talking golf. I also have a golf DFS show on my channel from earlier in the week, so be sure to check that out if you're into the golf tournament. Going to be a fun one this week. And yeah, I got asked a question before about parlaying these. If you're going to parlay, my confidence would be at Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler to start that off. John Collins over 17.5. Yeah, I've been asked that a lot. Based on his recent form, he probably should hit it. No Tice also. That being said, he has been inconsistent this year, and Boston is good defensively, so I'm a little bit wary on it. I'm neutral. And his Cantor thoughts against New Orleans. Don't like it at all. Pelicans are a great rebounding team. They don't let up a lot of points in the paint. This would change probably if Steven Adams is out. I don't know, did Adams get ruled out? Let me go check that right now. Adams not on the injury report. Yeah, I'd stay away from Cantor. Any other questions we got? Any other questions? Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure, once again, check out Thrive Fantasy, promo code BURD, BURD. Any other questions? Looks like we are probably done. Once again, going to just quickly read off the props if you don't see the bottom line here. My props tonight: Julius Randle over 1.5 threes, Zion Williamson over 25.5 points, Bam Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds, Draymond Green over 9.5 assists, Jimmy Butler over 7.5 rebounds. Yes, Knicks -4. I love it. I love it. I've been asked by probably 5 people today, Knicks -4. I do like it. If you aren't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to like the video. Really helps me out. We will be, just so everyone is clear on the schedule, because I keep getting asked this question. So before we head out today, want to alert everyone. Tomorrow, Thursday, I will be doing NBA player props on my Patreon. You could check out my Patreon in the link below. That'll be a podcast. That's where I do it Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will be back on YouTube on Friday. I'm going to try a little bit of different format going forward. So I think instead of, because there's always a ton of questions for me no matter what. So I think what I'm going to do going forward on Fridays, I'm going to make my picks in a separate video, which I'll release in the late morning, early afternoon. And then I will go live normal time, 5 p.m. on Friday. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So next time we will be live is Friday afternoon. Be sure to check that out. And yeah, goodbye everyone, and good luck with your player props tonight.